Alright everybody, welcome back to the inaugural Piccolo Jr. No Item World Tour video. First up here we have the GT Red Zone, the first fight being Legic. Nothing notable to really say about Legic. Strap in, skip through the fights for whichever one you need to watch or want to watch, or just, watch it all, I don't care. I'm not your keeper, you make the rules around here. I don't have much time to talk though because Legic does not stick around very long, so enjoy the OST. We'll hop back in for Lude, who is just as short. Alright, welcome into the Lude portion of the video. Again, nothing much to say here about Lude. Very easy fight. Nothing really to worry about here with Piccolo Jr. or really the entire team. Nothing much to say here. Nothing notable really happens. I'm pretty sure all of these runs, like with Piccolo Jr. so far, have been like my world record in these stages. So I'm just blazing through these fights with Piccolo Jr. here. I debated even speeding up these first two because I was like, they're only like 2 seconds. I think one of these might have been longer because, I don't know, maybe Orange Piccolo gets used in one of these. I don't remember exactly, but nothing much to say here. Again, Lude is a pretty quick fight, so enjoy the video, and we'll catch you in the Rildo fight. Alright everybody, next up here we have Rildo. Again, nothing much to say here about Rildo. Rildo's like, whenever he first came out, like people really like to do showcases on Rildo because he was like hitting hard. Like he came out and people were like, okay, like Rildo's actually doing some stuff. And then they did the baby fight and people were like, whoa, okay, maybe Red Zone's like a serious thing here. I remember whenever Baby first came out, I was trying to beat it in like a Sonic parking lot or something, like while I was waiting on an order. And I actually got my first run, and I remember using like the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta active skill and getting like the KO screen. I was like, yeah, this is fun. Like Red Zone is gonna be a good addition to the game, like a good game mode. So I like what they've done with Red Zone. I don't really have much to say about Rildo himself. This fight's pretty easy. We do get the Metal Cooler nullification, I believe, and several of these videos actually. I think this is the first place where we get it, is in this one. Metal Cooler, not the best unit in the world, but he works decently on this team, right? I was able to use him effectively across, so far, half the Red Zone. I've done the GT and the movie bosses as of this recording. I think these are going to come out on the same day. It's going to be Tuesday, I believe, the 9th, on Goku Day. I figured I'd get some Piccolo Jr. videos up on Goku Day, because it is actually Piccolo Day. So, anyway, that's the Rildo commentary. We'll hop back in for Baby. All right, next up we have Baby as promised, or as, you would expect. Again, nothing really too notable to say about Baby. This is actually a fight where Physical Metal Cooler and Physical Piccolo are very good, obviously because they have type advantage through the hardest portions of the fight, so it is like a good chance to use them. I didn't change the team build-up quite. Like, I kept mostly the same core for this team, but I did find myself changing like characters on the team more often with Piccolo Jr. than I did with Goku, and that's just because Goku has a lot stronger team himself. Like, I think Piccolo Jr. is stronger than Goku. There was never a situation where I was like, oh man, I'm really worried about Piccolo Jr. in this situation. It was, oh man, I'm really worried about the units around him. But Piccolo Jr. is just so good that I can really put him into any scenario, and as long as the characters around him can take like 1 or 2 hits, he's just going to clear the field for the most part, so I was never too concerned about him. We also have a ton of support around him, with Turles. Cooler isn't always supporting him, like the STR Cooler, but occasionally there are multiple multi-enemy fights, mostly in like the movie red zone, and then there's a few in the like Red Ribbon Army red zone. I think there's one in the Wicked Bloodline red zone, but there are some multi-enemy fights where you can actually get some support from him. And you can also pop Piccolo Jr.'s active skill and get like really built up on turn 1, which is nice. But yeah, I found myself moving very quickly through these stages, which I think was actually a detriment a little bit to Physical Piccolo. And we'll see that more in the Broly fight once I get that posted. But there was a few fights, I think, where we were moving so fast that I just was not able to get him stacked up. Because this team, you don't really have rotations whenever you're running this team. You're just like Piccolo Jr.'s on one rotation, Piccolo Jr.'s on another rotation, and you just got to move the other units around them so that you survive and that he takes care of the enemy. That's kind of the play here. And, Physical Piccolo doesn't really adhere to that kind of play style. He wants to be on rotation. He works best on the Orange Piccolo team, where you can run Orange Piccolo on one rotation, Orange Piccolo on another, and then have like STR Piccolo on one, and then Physical Piccolo on the other, and you can have set rotations like that and just let them stack and stack and stack. Whereas here, I'm just kind of having to sporadically move them around so that I can, make sure that the other character on the rotation is surviving. Anyway, this is going to be the end of the Baby fight. Next up, we have 17. Again, nothing too notable to say about any of these fights, but hope you're enjoying this. We'll hop into 17 next. All right, next up we have Super 17 here. Again, this isn't a super crazy fight, but it does start out with multiple enemies. So I believe on the first turn that I have the Piccolo Juniors, I think I use one or both of their active skills. I might have just used the one that was floating, since he wasn't going to probably get to build up as much. I kind of expected the first Piccolo Jr. to just take out both of them, and then the other one not to get any attacks in. So I think what I did was I just built, like, I used the active skill on the floating one, and then I didn't use the active skill on my Piccolo Jr. because I was like, okay, like, mine is going to get built up, but I need the floater to get some attacks in. So I do the active skill with the floater, that way he has at least 2/5 or 40% of his passive built up. Because he needs to do 5 attacks, and then using the active skill, if it hits multiple enemies, then it counts as, like, multiple buildups of that part of his passive. I didn't think it ended up being an issue, though, either way. Now, you'll notice that I actually did swap out Physical Metal Cooler for AGL Metal Cooler in this run, which is actually better for Piccolo, because I think they share 4 or 5 links, one of them being Transform, which is a big defensive link, along with Thirst for Conquest and Big Bad Bosses, giving him a ton of extra defense and power. Which is very good, right? The only reason I was comfortable running the AGL Metal Cooler in here is because, you know, Super 17 is STR. So I wasn't too concerned about him getting caught. I think this might have been the only fight where I actually ran that AGL Metal Cooler. I'm not a big fan of that guy. He just is not quite strong enough for me, and he builds up just a little too slow for me to, like, feel really comfortable bringing him. And it's not like he's providing any support or any extra abilities to the team. It's literally just him, right? I guess you could say his links is what he's bringing, but he doesn't really, like, do anything, if that makes sense. Like, at least if I'm bringing AGL Turles, he's supporting, right? You know, I can float him around, I can have him support Piccolo, and he makes Piccolo do a ton more damage. So, like, that I'm not really concerned about. But then you bring AGL Metal Cooler, and it's like, okay, what's he bringing? Links? I mean, that's cool, but I don't really care too much about links on this team. Especially whenever you get, like, the Piccolo Jr. Giant transformation. It's just him for, you know, 3 turns doing half of the enemy's health bar. I think that's a lot of the reasons why these runs are a bit longer. It's just because of that giant transformation, especially because you can't choose to go into it. It just happens, and then you're just in it. Whereas with, like, Orange Piccolo, it's like, okay, I don't want to spend 8 hours in the Orange Piccolo transformation. Let me, you know, just not do it because we don't really need it. Here, it's like, okay, we're doing it, so... Anyway, that's Super 17. Next up, we'll hop in with the Shadow Dragons. Alright, next up we have the Shadow Dragons, as I previously stated. It's really weird. It's probably not as weird for you guys because there's like a break in the video for how long it's been, but for me it's literally like, okay, record this segment of audio, okay, and hit stop, save, okay, and next segment of audio, and I'm just picking up right where I left off. What's interesting is these probably feel like very jarring and incoherent just because I don't really know what to say in these fights. I don't even know why I'm doing commentary. I feel like commentary's good, right? Like the whole purpose of commentary, I think, is to like let people who can't watch the video know what's going on. But I feel like the people who are watching these, you're just maybe listening to this while you study, or you just need something in the background that's a little bit longer. I think the nice thing about my videos, at least at the moment, is that I'm not monetized, so you shouldn't be getting ads on this. So you can just have like a nice stream of constant audio playing, which for me I know is always really helpful whenever I'm trying to study or anything. But I don't know, maybe you guys are just paying for YouTube Premium, or you have ad blockers up and you don't have to worry about it. But you know, I use my phone a lot for YouTube, and you can't, as far as I know, you can't run an ad blocker on it. If you know how, let me know. But yeah, it's just like I'm sitting there trying to watch videos, and she's like, oh, got to something I really want to see, and ad break, and it breaks it up. It's like, oh, this is the worst thing. And the ads are never like the same volume as the like the actual thing I'm listening to, so it's either like blowing out my eardrums, or like who knows what it's doing. But you know, enjoy that while I'm not monetized. You know, the goal is eventually to get monetized on here. We're a long ways away from that, but it's a journey, right? It's a process. So I appreciate everyone who has subscribed so far. If you haven't, consider dropping a, you know, consider subscribing. You know, maybe, you know, put in your put in a notice, you run it through the board, go to your executives, be like, you know, like, can we do this? Can we afford this? You know, make sure it fits into your budget if you want to subscribe here. So anyway, that's going to be the Shadow Dragons. I don't really have anything to say about these guys. This fight's easy. We have LR Cooler. I think he does a ton of damage at some point, probably to like Nova or like Ice. I don't remember when I used his active skill. Nothing notable going on in this fight. Pretty easy run. We'll hop in last with Omega. Alright, here's the finale. We have Omega Shinron, starting out here with the Shadow Dragon Army LR. You know, eventually, oh, I guess we can rainbow them now. I think mine's rainbowed. But, you know, like, I don't even know what to say, right? Like, this fight, I'm taking it off the World Tour. We're probably not going to do, if I do any future, like, GT showcases, it'll be either be in this format, or it'll be, like, the Shadow Dragon Saga stage, just because I like to get, like, I'll try to, like, cycle through the long events whenever I do showcases. But yeah, I don't find Omega to be a challenge anymore. I don't think he's really, like, worth showcasing in. If you're having trouble with Omega, let me know. I'm happy to do different team builds in here. You know, if you're just like, okay, these are, like, the units that I have. Can you try to run this team so you can get the no-item run? Because in theory, like, to me, right, if I can get a no-item run using all of these rainbowed units, then you guys using, like, 55%, 79%, you know, whatever, you guys should be able to use items and get through these stages. You know, maybe you just need an idea of, like, how to play certain situations. Maybe you need an idea of, like, certain characters' defensive stats in certain situations. Like, I get it, you know. Sometimes just being able to, like, see how somebody plays with certain characters can really help out with, like, your own decision-making process. Because I have several years now of, like, Dokkan knowledge that I've just built up over time. You know, back in the day, whenever Super Battle Road was the big content, it's like, I almost had, like, the original 10 stages memorized of, like, okay, this guy's prone to super attacking here, this guy does about this much damage, this guy does about, like, this much, this guy will have this much defense in this situation, you know, this guy is the one that has key issues, I need to think about this. Like, I had all that information, like, on lock. I mean, now Super Battle Road, you just walk in and you just win. But that was back before I knew, like, how to calculate defense, how to, like, really understand, like, am I building a cohesive team, things like that. I just ran those stages enough that you just gain knowledge, right, about the characters that you're using. So I get it. It's like the more exposure that a person has to, like, okay, is this character good? I need to know. Like, these are the 10 characters that I have that I think can do red zone. Like, how do they actually perform in here before I jump in and try to do it? You know, is it just a skill issue on, you know, your end? Or is it really just like this character isn't very good, you shouldn't be using them? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. You know, I hope somebody is getting value out of these runs, or at least you're getting entertainment value out of it. So, anyway, this is the end of... the short of this is, if you want me to do other runs, let me know down in the comments. You know, if you want any specific characters, let me know. If you need help building a team, it's kind of hard to do that in YouTube comments, but I don't know. Like, if you just want me to kind of, like, pick a category and you say, like, can you build, like, can you talk about, like, this category? I'm happy to do a video on that. And I don't know. Thank you for watching. That's all I got. I don't know. I rambled on too much. I'll let you guys just listen to the OST. That's probably what most of you are here for anyway. So enjoy that, and be on the lookout for the movie No Item World Tour later today.